Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Bloom, Director of Student Supports at Mesa Charter High School. I wanted to share a couple resources our school's student support team has used while we've been remote, and that I think will translate well to a typical school year. We'll look at a few resources, included student snapshots, a modification toolbox, and how we've organized professional development. What you see here is referred to as our student snapshot. Think of them as teacher-friendly IEPs. They feature the most updated data, pertinent information from each student's IEP, a customized list of helpful modifications. And they also include teacher anecdotes, which is super useful for teachers planning in the beginning of the year, as ninth grade teachers leave helpful comments for 10th grade teachers. It's also a living document that can be updated more frequently than an annual IEP. We also create snapshots for our multilingual learners. Most of the information mentioned on the previous slide is included, but we do add information or data on each student's level of English proficiency. Once teachers become well versed in the needs of the individual students in their classrooms, we want to make sure that teachers know how to apply the proposed modifications in their classes. So in comes our modification toolbox. At Mesa, we consider all teachers responsible for the success of our students with IEPs and our multilingual learners. So it's important that we have a resource that teachers could repeatedly refer to. This creates a shared language and an entry point for teachers as they take on the challenge of creating meaningful modifications in their classrooms. The modification toolbox is organized into 6 categories that teachers must consider when planning for their classes. The modification toolbox provides context using text from understood.org, common noticings and observations, and modification ideas for students who present needs in the areas of processing speed, executive functioning, reading, writing, etc. Within each category, we've also linked the snapshots of students who present needs in those areas as a reference. And finally, it is important that our school consistently return to our student snapshots and our modification toolbox. So we've carved out the time to discuss student supports and grade teams. We found that professional development organized within grade teams to be most effective, as teachers within each grade team typically teach the same students. So what do we do in this space called professional development? I have to give credit to our amazing Mesa staff for supporting the development of the document to the right. We typically start with a what's working protocol where teachers share student work, student-facing materials that effectively support our students with IEPs and multilingual learners. From there, as you'll note in the red section, we vote on which student archetype we'd like to focus our meeting on. And then we follow protocol, leading us to consider the needs of students who fall within each archetype. Using our modification toolbox and each teacher's experience, we create an action plan to support the archetype that we choose for that day. And finally, we close with time for co-teachers to make course-specific plans to implement some of the action items that we discussed as a grade team. So I'll link all of the visuals as templates in case you find any of the information presented useful for your schools. Thank you so much for listening. We welcome any feedback, new ideas, or questions. And here's my email if you want to reach me. Thank you so much.